Welcome, everyone. Welcome back for day 2 of Holistic Autonomy. And really happy to have you here again today. So last night, I gave you guys some homework to do, which was to notice the ways that your PRS, your preferred representational system, operates in your language, in the language of others around you, and in noticing how you're filtering your experience. So have fun with this. Continue to listen for people's predicates, right? Predicates are the words that preferred representational systems use to describe their experience. Once you're aware of your own PRS, preferred representational system, you can begin to understand or hear or see or feel in your language the content of your thoughts. NLP is about becoming fascinated with the process of thinking and the process of how we filter our experience. The NLP teaches us how to listen for our language and the language of others to reveal their unconscious biases. And when you're aware of your own and others' unconscious biases and the deletions, distortions, and generalizations, you can begin to ask powerful questions of yourself and others to recover that deleted, distorted, and generalized information. So that's just a quick review of what we did yesterday. And thank you so much for joining. Welcome, Lindsay. Welcome, Michelle. Welcome, Raquel. Thank you so much for coming back for day 2 of Holistic Autonomy. Today, we're going to be discussing alignment. What is alignment? Thank you for the waves and kisses. Hi, everyone. Okay, so we're going to discuss alignment. What is alignment? How do you know when you're in it? How do you know when you've fallen out of it? How do you get back into alignment so you can continue to take inspired actions towards your goals and the life that you most want to be living? And then we're also going to talk about how to create, how to visualize, how to manifest, and the 5 steps to manifestation, and why previous manifestation work you've done may have not been completely effective and fulfilling. So we're going to talk about what are some of the key steps that are being left out of most manifestation teaching out there today, because it's not including the unconscious mind and language. All right, so welcome back, everyone. If you played with your PRS, your preferred representational system, you're a visual and auditory, a kinesthetic, or AD, audio digital, those people that are more thinking, more cerebral. Tell me in the chat. Let me know in the chat if you had any aha moments yesterday when you were noticing either how you process the world, how you speak, or how others speak using that language that's in alignment with the preferred representational system, or the VACOG, how people process their world. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to start today's class, and hopefully I can do a better job of managing this technology today. All right. Are you all, oops, not that page. Hold on. Okay. Are you able to see my slide, day 2 alignment in full screen? Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Michelle. Appreciate that. All righty, everyone. So welcome back. Welcome to day 2. And today we're going to talk about alignment and why does alignment matter? So you may have heard other terms like manifestation or visualization. Alignment really encompasses all of those practices and others, intuition, etc. So why does it matter? It matters because we want to really understand the top level concept that's running these other ideas that are out there, like manifestation, visualization, vision boards, positive thinking, affirmations. We want to understand that there's a category that's even above those, which is alignment. So that's why it matters. For any of those practices to be successful, to bear fruit, we must be in alignment. So we're going up a level in our neurology to see that all of those practices, manifestation, visualization, affirmations, positive thinking, etc., sticking to your goals, mindset coaching, there's a higher category for those things to be successful, to bear fruit, and that's alignment. So that's why it matters. So what is alignment? Alignment is a 5-step process that I'll teach you today. And it's designed as a loop, a feedback loop. So you're always getting information as to the success or fulfillment or completion of your goals every step of the way. But for that to happen, we must get down to the unconscious motivations, the true unconscious goals that are driving that external desire. So what it is keeping us aware of our unconscious motivations, values, and drives. And when we begin to become unconscious of, right, through this work, we start to become conscious of what's in our unconscious, but life is always happening to us and there's always deeper layers to go. So then we'll find another level of unconsciousness, which becomes, we become aware of that due to our resistance to moving ahead, which would come in the way of self-doubt, sabotage, procrastination, all of those types of behaviors that impede us from moving forward can be classified as resistance. So alignment, what it is a feedback loop process for you to become aware of those unconscious blocks or limiting decisions as they arise and have the tools to get back into alignment. So how do we know when we're in alignment? It's pretty simple. When we're in alignment, we know what our end destination is. And I want to pull it back just a bit in that in the alignment process, we're also going to talk about, many of us go to the end. Like, I want the loving, sexy, amazing, healthy relationship with lots of money and the car and the blah, 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 and whatever. And we see the whole big picture. But what I'm going to teach is that actually we need to step it way back and set smaller, more attainable goals. So if we don't have a currently functioning relationship, if we're currently not making the level of income that we want to make, if we're currently not experiencing the level of impact that we wish to have in the world, then to envision ourselves like Oprah 2.0 is too far. We need to scale it back. Because each step of the way, there are going to be limiting decisions, blocks, resistance to taking action. Right now, from where most of us stand, with all due respect, I mean, I'm including myself in this, like, if we were headed towards Oprah 2.0, we wouldn't even be on this class. We'd be like out with some other millionaires and, doing that. But we're here because we're all at around the same level of our development and of our clarity around where we want to go. If you weren't clear that you're wanting something, you wouldn't be here today. So we know when we're in alignment, when we can take those appropriate action steps to the next place, and that we feel positive and at cause as we're doing it. There's no like, man, I hate going to the gym, but I know I've got to do it. If that's present, then the results of the gym are not going to be fully expressed because there's an unconscious, I really don't want to go, but I have to. That we can see as resistance, right? If we were fully in alignment, it would be like, awesome, I'm going to the gym today. I know I'm going to feel amazing after I get out. I've got my workouts down to 45 minutes. I'm in and out. I'm so focused, and I'm listening to an awesome audiobook while I'm doing my warm up or cool down. And like, you're excited about it. You have a plan and you're ready to take action. So that's how you know when you're in alignment. When you're not in it is resistance, when you're like bored, procrastinated, making excuses, blaming someone or something else. Could even be the weather. Oh, I can't go out today because it's raining, or I can't go out today because it's too hot, or all of those blocks, no matter how mundane, can be viewed upon as resistance. And that's how you know when you're falling out of alignment, is you're starting to make more of those excuses, justifications, and reasons for why you're not doing the thing that you say that you want to do. I'm just checking up in the chat here. Okay. All right. So yes, Raquel put in her new PRS. So Raquel's an auditory, which is cool, and then a visual, followed by kinesthetic and an audio digital. And yes, Michelle, the recording is in the Facebook group, And let me actually pause and put that in the chat for everyone, because I know some people were not able to find it. Well, I'm going to do that later. I'll make sure to put that in there, Michelle, for you. Okay. Yes. And oh, thank you. Thanks, Raquel, for sending that email along. Okay. So anyway, okay, so we were talking about alignment and oops, and what it is, how to know when you're out of it. Just get that back. Okay, how to know when you're out of it. And what if, so we now know why it matters. We know what it is. We know how we know when we're in it. And we also know how we know when we're not in it. Now, how do you get back into alignment? I mentioned that what alignment is a feedback loop to show you when you're in resistance, AKA out of alignment. When you start making those excuses, justifications, when you stop taking action, when you're procrastinated, bored, distracted, you name it, sabotaging, acting out, coping, numbing out, all of that stuff can be categorized as resistance. So how we get back into alignment is we do the feedback loop, which I'm going to teach you more about that later on today. And what if we lose our alignment? We just go back and do the process again, right? It's a feedback loop. So losing it and regaining it is actually part of the process of neurological growth if you're doing it the correct way, which is observing your negative thoughts and emotions about the resistance that you're having. So if you can notice that you're having resistance and then ask yourself, well, what are the negative thoughts? And when I notice that I'm procrastinating, what are my negative thoughts and emotions? Oh, I'm doing it again. Oh, I'll never get there. This is too difficult. I don't know what first step to begin. This is overwhelming. I'm not smart enough. I'm not good enough, etc. And so when you become aware of the unconscious content, which is encoded in those negative thoughts and feelings, and then you become conscious of the unconscious content, remember, delete, distort, generalize, then you can do something about it, because then you're like, wait a second. So I'm saying that I'm not good enough. I'm saying that I'm not smart enough. I'm saying that I'm all these excuses. Are those really true? And then you start to ask questions to recover that content. And when you do that, then you see new opportunities for action that you can take those appropriate action steps. It's not about becoming Oprah 2.0 tomorrow, but becoming that next most expressed, most integrated version of ourselves, where we feel that we're truly acting as ourselves in the world, that we're confident, that we're clear, that we're ready to take those next steps, even if they may be uncomfortable or awkward, or we're not entirely sure what we're doing. That's how you create the neurological growth. You take that next step, you take that next step forward, you experience the negative thoughts and emotions, you become aware of them, you work through them or release them through a lot of these protocols that I'm teaching you. And then you get the learnings, you understand why you were experiencing the resistance, what that resistance, the purpose of it was, to make you aware of your unconscious content. Once you become aware of your unconscious content, make it conscious. Now, with just a few coaching questions and processes, now you become aware of new opportunities that those resistance points showed you were available for you. So that's what happens if we lose alignment. We just do this feedback process over and over and over again. And then we rise in our level of awareness, our integrity, our wholeness, and acting in the world becomes a much easier, more fun, more magical, more aligned process, because we're in flow now. We just know what the next thing is to do. We can feel what the next thing to do is. We can hear it from that guidance that we're getting, and we see it right in front of us. It's like, that's what has to happen next. And there's trust in the universe and trust in yourself and confidence and forward motion. So that's alignment. We're going to talk about it more later on today. All right, let's see. So let's just quickly, we reviewed this a little bit. PRS, right now, you know that there is a way that your brain processes information more readily, right? That's its preferred representational system. We talked about the prime directives of the unconscious mind, right? That it stores memories, and there's about 19 of them, but these are just the ones that I want to focus on for this class. Stores, organizes memories. And it organizes them both in a temporal way, like this happened when I was 2, this is when I was 8, this is when I was 15, now I'm 37, blah, blah, blah. And also atemporal, outside of time. These things are good. These things are bad. These things made me feel fear. These things made me feel love, these experiences, right? And remember, your mind holds everything like pictures or movies. So the first house you grew up in, do you have a picture? And of course, everyone has a picture, right? So the unconscious mind also represses memories with unresolved negative emotion and presents those memories when it's time for resolution. So we talked about getting those memories out of the blue. You just see a picture, you're like, I haven't thought of that since it happened. Why now? Right? And then you start to notice these occurrences. And then you know that there's information there or learnings that now you're ready to integrate. And that's another level of healing and another level of neurological growth. You're literally making more connections in your brain. You're integrating your life experience instead of having it all kind of organized and compartmentalized where certain things are walled off or closed off or not so available. The unconscious mind also runs the body and does, the heartbeat, the digestion, the sleep cycles, the reproductive cycles, all of those things, grows your hair. And because it has a blueprint for your perfect health, it also is charged with preserving your body, which includes keeping you in your current state of comfort, safety, and security, emotionally and mentally. So in preserving the body, your unconscious mind will also repress certain memories or keep alive certain limiting decisions. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not blah, blah, blah enough. It's impossible. It'll never happen. Because you're at that current level of safety. So your unconscious mind is preserving your very existence by keeping you small. Once you reach the ceiling of that and you're like, I'm sick of this, I want more, right? Because one of the other prime directives of the unconscious mind is to perpetually have you driving for more, which is why we're never satisfied, which is why we're always looking for the next thing. And that's due to our evolutionary nature. We must continue to grow. We must continue to evolve, or we start to entropy, right? Fall apart, come apart. It's like we're constantly in motion. The universe is constantly in motion. Ergo, we as living entities in the universe are also constantly in motion and development. So when your unconscious mind is ready to show you all that stuff, it does. But in the meantime, it's preserving your body. Your unconscious mind speaks in symbols, responds to symbols, understands symbols, creates your whole life experience as a symbol. The first school, high school that you went to, do you have a picture? Yes. Your unconscious mind takes everything personally because it's trying to preserve your very existence. So knowing that helps us understand why we take certain things so powerfully, again, unconsciously. Unconscious mind works on the principle of least effort. So it's going to go down those well-worn pathways. Oh no, I could never do blankety blank, blank, blank. And so you will never do blankety blank, blank, blank so long as that thought is present in your unconscious mind, because that's the principle of least effort. Once you update that thought to, I think I could do. Actually, if I did that, what would happen? If I didn't do that, what would happen? If I did that, what wouldn't happen? If I did that, what would happen? And you ask yourself these questions and you start to recover that deleted, distorted, generalized information. And our unconscious mind doesn't process negatives. Don't think of a blue tree. All right. So I just want to share a little bit about some of the previous people that I've worked with that have undergone some of these processes and how their life has changed. So Zan, this is Zan here, second from the left. She and I met in Jersey City in a yoga studio where we were both, well, she was a student, I was a teacher there. And we developed a relationship. She did a yoga teacher training with me in 2019. At the time, she was working she has a really fascinating background. She knows Japanese mime. She did these weird Japanese dance things, like the one called slow tempo, where you like move and you look like an animal or a waterfall, or I don't know, just crazy stuff. She was a mime and a clown. So, and she was like baker, and she did all these things. But she was working as a home healthcare aide, and she was making like $13 an hour, and she was working with these really angry and ungrateful old people. And so I met her in that state. She was she knew she had this super creative background in nature, but she had no idea. And she knew she wanted to help people, but she had no idea how to live life from that. She was like, well, I'm a home healthcare aide and I can tell the old people stories at night. And, I'm helping people, but she was broke and she was tired and she wasn't doing anything that was her passion truly. So she did a yoga teacher training. I was the lead trainer for her training in 2019. She graduated, she started teaching yoga. She broke up with the guy that she was with for 5 years and it was like over. And then she moved to Seattle or Portland, Oregon. And she got a job as an Amazon warehouse person. So again, not doing what she wanted to do, but making a little bit more money and having left a stale relationship and moved to where she really wanted to live. And then from there, she started saving money. She applied to become she went through a master's degree to become a social worker. Now she's about to graduate and open up a somatic therapy practice where she's integrating yoga and movement and clowning and miming. She's helping people express their emotions through their body and tell their stories through their body. And she's dating an acupuncturist, and it's like everything changed, right? And that happened for her in about 2 years. We did a coaching program together where I was her coach, and she really applied the work. And now she's living a completely different life than she was 3 years ago. So I'm really proud of her, and she's doing amazing. And then on the bottom is Emily. I met Emily when I was teaching yoga at the CUNY Graduate School of Journalism in New York City. And she would come to class every time, 5 minutes late, totally stressed out. I'm sorry. She was studying to be a journalist, but she drove herself so relentlessly that she had a mental breakdown. She had a bipolar episode where she was away on vacation. She, I think, like drank herself into some altered state, had a bipolar episode, really had a mental crisis. And she came back from that. She started coming back to yoga classes. We started doing some coaching work. She had a really, really rough time of recovering from that up and down the bipolar work. And she was also, on medication. She was seeing a therapist. But in addition, we were starting to do a lot of that internal work and to find out, like, what are the unconscious beliefs that cause you to drive yourself so relentlessly to not ever take care of your physical or emotional or mental health, to overdrink, to overwork, to overexercise. What are the unconscious things that are creating these patterns that are keeping you in suffering to the point that you would mentally have a break? And so we started doing that work. And in 2019, she came to Costa Rica with me to do a yoga teacher training. And by the time that she left, she was in a completely different state. She was eating foods that supported her body. She was happy for maybe the first time ever, she said. And we spoke many months after she came home, and she was like, I finally feel like I know what I'm supposed to be doing in my life. And she was pursuing a career, utilizing her journalism, utilizing her gift for research and drawing conclusions and trying things together. And she was happy. And it was an incredible turnaround, and really love her a lot as well. So anyway, all right, so let's talk about alignment. And so I shared those stories as a way to share with you how people can move from these different states, right? We talked about state let me just go back really quick, because I think this is important to the NLP communication model and why I shared those stories about my clients. So because they were able to change their state. And in the NLP communication model, state is the result of our internal representations, those pictures. So at one point in time, Zan had the picture of, I can't do it, it's too much of a struggle. How do I incorporate my miming and my clowning and my dancing and my care for people into something that actually earns me a living and I feel that I'm utilizing my talents? Once she was able to change her internal representations of what's possible by examining the unconscious content stuck in her filters, she was able to create new pictures. And one of those new pictures, right, taking the appropriate action steps along the way, getting to that new level 10, which is probably only, that much further away from where you are now. This is about incremental growth, which becomes then exponential because you're actually doing something about it. So anyway, Zan changed her internal representations, which changed her state. So she went from shut down, depressed, tired, confused, overwhelmed to encouraged, excited, interested, willing, right? These are small gradual steps. And then once she had willing and interested and curious and excited, then she was able to get to like with her schooling and moving towards this licensed social worker thing, then she was able to get to competent, and then effective and passionate and self-expressed, right? So she's climbing up the state ladder to these higher and higher vibrational layers, which that changes your physiology, which changes your behavior. So she was now able to do those things. And now she's going to open a practice, and she's dating an acupuncturist, and she's, all the things that she wanted to be doing in 2019 when I met her, but due to her unconscious content, which was creating her internal representations, she wasn't able to change her state. Once she got aware of her unconscious content, changed the pictures, she was able to get into a new state, which affected her physiology. Now she's alive and she's excited and she's willing, which changes the behavior, which then pays the dividends in your life moving forward in the direction that you most want it to go. So let's have a fun play with alignment. And we're going to use the example of a Ferrari. Okay. So you say, let me try to get all this on one screen. Okay, so you say you want a Ferrari. So we're going to use the Ferrari example to teach the 5 steps for alignment. Okay, there are 5 steps in manifesting what you want in life. The first one is actually non-awareness. I'm not thinking about a Ferrari, right? There's a moment in time before you want that Ferrari that you're not thinking about the Ferrari. So step 1 is actually the absence of awareness, because you haven't yet created the picture. And this is actually very, very powerful, and it's not often taught. Somewhat in Abraham Hicks, like first you have to be at that state of just receptivity, pure awareness, but also non-specific awareness. You're just like, I want to be happy. I want to be fulfilled. I want to feel love. I want to feel excitement. And so you're starting at that first layer, but you're not yet saying the how, right? And this is the key first step, is signaling to the universe that you trust the universe or God or source to deliver the how. Your job is the what. The universe's job is the how. So the what is thinking about a Ferrari, excitement, status, adventure, thrill, something like that. And that's the first layer. Then step 2 is awareness, and awareness comes as thoughts. So after that adventure, joy, thrill, whatever, then comes the thought, ooh, a Ferrari. Now, if I had a Ferrari, I could definitely have that up there. And then you're like, okay, I love how a Ferrari sounds, that engine. It looks so sexy, parked next to some stone building on a cobblestone street in New York. There's emotions attached to it. You're like, ooh, sexy, or like, oh, exciting, or expensive, or fast, or whatever. So then that next step, that second layer, is the thought. You start to create the picture, right? You have the picture for the Ferrari or for whatever it is that you're wanting. And this is a really important step, is that the more specific you can make your thoughts, the more that you become conscious of that which you want, which is why in manifestation, once you do that first step of non-awareness, joy, happiness, excitement, whatever, then it starts to become more granular and thought. And the more specific you make the thought, the more you recover the unconscious content. So it's, step 2 could be like, I want to get married. Okay, where? at the city hall, in Aruba, in your backyard. Like it's a little bit vague, but it's getting better. So then you say, okay, I want to be married. I want to have a big wedding. Okay, where? On a tropical island. Okay, where? In Aruba. Okay, when? By June 2025. Okay. And you start to step it down, right? So the more that you become aware, the more that you ask yourself and specify in step 2, the more you become aware of those blocks. So let's say we get to, okay, when? And you're like, whoa, that's way too much commitment for me. I can't say when, I'm just going to leave it up to God and the universe. And you're like not willing to put down a when. That's a great indicator of a negative thought or emotion there. Oh, that's too soon, or that's too far away, or that's not possible, or how am I going to afford Aruba? All of those negative thoughts are indicators that you're not yet in alignment. So you have to step it back. Level 3 is getting into that emotional state, right? So with the Ferrari, you want the Ferrari, you think about the Ferrari and you're like, yes, I want the Ferrari. I'm ready to go get it. I deserve it. I feel great about it. If you have positive thoughts, then you go to step 4, which is naturally now you're going to have positive behavior. You're going to start researching Ferraris. You're going to find the dealership nearest you. You're going to look on Facebook. You're going to read reviews about the different types of Ferraris and how they drive or problems with them. You're going to inform yourself about how you can get that Ferrari, because that's the logical next step. And that is the unconscious mind's next step. It's not just the logical next step, but you had the thought, you specified it, you got into that emotional state of yes, you're driven to get it. Now the next step is to go and get it. Now, even this can be broken down, right? Maybe you start looking at pricing of Ferraris and you create an Excel spreadsheet of the different prices that the different models are available at. And now you're making a savings plan. And maybe you're thinking, okay, I'm going to make more money to get the Ferrari, or maybe you're going to save more money, or you're going to sell things. You're making a plan, but you still don't have the Ferrari. You have positive thoughts, positive emotions, and that spreadsheet and a plan, but you still don't have the Ferrari. You have to go to the dealership. You have to test drive it, but you still don't have it. You have to now do the paperwork and put in the loan or figure out the financing or however you're going to do it, but you still don't have the Ferrari. Now you have to buy it, drive it off the lot, and bring it home. Now you have a Ferrari. So at every step of the way, you must become aware of any resistance until you actually have the thing. And the way that you release the resistance is by examining your negative thoughts and emotions the entire way through. Why not everybody has what they say that they want, like this Ferrari, is because some people are going to fall off in this process and never get the Ferrari or never get what they want, because the negative thoughts and emotions are continuing to operate at the unconscious level. They haven't yet made them conscious and done the work to release them, to reprogram, to take different action steps that are in alignment to get the conscious and unconscious minds in alignment. So the reason why there's resistance is those negative thoughts and emotions. For example, oh, I love the idea of a Ferrari, but I wouldn't want that much attention. That's a negative thought. So immediately the journey is going to stop there. Or let's say you have positive thoughts about the Ferrari, but you have a negative emotion. Oh, wow, it's so beautiful. I can totally see myself in it. I know that that would be amazing. I deserve it. I'm ready for it. I have the money for it, but I feel really guilty spending that much money on something for myself when I've got 2 kids that need to go to school and I need to save for retirement and my wife, So positive thoughts are there, but negative emotion, that's also a stop. So the unconscious mind says, okay, so you really don't want the Ferrari because the kids and the wife and etc. You've decided that it's either the Ferrari or those. Now there's a possibility of finding a way, creating resourcefulness in that client to be able to have both. But to have both requires the conscious awareness of the unconscious limitations. Couldn't you save for the Ferrari, finance the Ferrari, buy the Ferrari, and save for your kids' college education, put money away for retirement and get your wife the blah, blah, blah? Yes, you could. It's only a matter of growing neurologically to see those possibilities. And we're using the Ferrari as an example. It could be anything. So you must have positive thoughts, positive emotions, and positive behavior consistently moving forward to get that which you want. And we're inevitably going to reach certain limitations in our neurological development. And we deserve to examine what's there at that layer of neurological development, become conscious of that unconscious content, release that, and then move forward incrementally, which then becomes exponentially. So I want to just remind you guys about my money story that I told you yesterday. I knew I wanted to make more money. Actually, let me rephrase that. I knew I needed more money. So the word need already implies that I believed at an unconscious level that I didn't have enough and that I needed it, which implies necessity instead of I want to make more money. Now, see, my language has changed. Now I say I want to make more money. I no longer say I need to make more money. So I went from having that kind of language. I can't even say that back then I wanted to make more money. I knew I needed to make more money. And I would say things like, but I've invested so much time and effort and energy and money into my education, right? And my healing and my growth, because I had for at least a decade, if not more. I knew I could tell that I wanted to earn more money in addition to needing to earn more money. But I realized through this work that I would never move past needing to make more money until I became aware of what was stuck in my unconscious or what was deleted, distorted, and generalized. I needed to make more money because life is challenging and life is hard and you have to make sacrifices to get to where you want. Those were the types of unconscious thoughts that I had that were keeping me in that need state. Once I was able to release a lot of negative thoughts, including, well, nobody ever showed me how to manage money. My mother's an immigrant. My mother said, you know, just make sure that you marry a man that has a PhD, like a doctor or a lawyer. Or she would say things like, it's better to stay alone than with someone that can't provide for you, that isn't your equal, that isn't as good as you are. So it was either do this over here, marry some rich dude, or stay by yourself and be independent and don't rely on anybody. So I really defaulted to the don't rely on anybody, do it all on your own. You can't trust anybody, because that's what I was taught as a child. So I had a lot of resistance around money and around relationships. So I was always choosing men that were not able to meet me financially so I could stay independent and not rely on anybody. And so not only did I affirm my old money stories about you can't trust anybody, nobody's as got it together as me, or I'm attracting these types of men, or I got to double down on that and double down on, well, you can't trust anybody, so you've got to do it by myself, and I'll just be self-reliant and I'll figure it out and I'll do it because I'm that woman, right? And so I kept myself trapped until I was able to release a lot of those limiting decisions. And now I can have empowerment around money, finance, career, and exchange power in a healthy way in a relationship, see certain unconscious patterns still active in my relational life, but now they're separated from my financial money life. I can manage my money life without needing to sacrifice my relational life. Like I can have them both together, which before I could not. So these unconscious decisions that we make, which in this work we call limiting decisions, we make them unconsciously. Like I made the unconscious decision that it was safer to be independent, be on my own, not rely on anyone. In other words, not truly be vulnerable with a partner and let that partner and I share power, share decisions. I was much more comfortable with a lower functioning partner because that allowed me to stay in control. Once I was able to release all that, now I can have a more complete experience of both relationship and money. So, yeah, you know, when I was stuck in this world, I lived in a tiny studio apartment in Jersey City for 14 years. I paid the mortgage on that apartment. Like realizing that I stayed in, it was probably about 350 square feet. And at the end of it, it was me, 2 dogs, and the person that I was with at the time. It was to say that it was, let's see, I think I have a picture. Yeah. It's like, okay, there's 1 dog. Here's the kitchen. I'm trying to teach yoga in like about whatever the square footage of a yoga mat is. I've got this up to hide this crazy corner, where's my office. And like over here, it was just crazy. So it's 2 people and a dog, 2 dogs, 2 people. Anyway, so limiting decisions make a huge impact on your ability to create what you want. Now I have a home in Florida. I have a property in Costa Rica. All of this happened in 2 years where I started doing this work. I cleared a lot of these limiting decisions, made this unconscious content conscious, did the release work so that I could move forward. So how does this all relate to alignment? Okay, because in 2013, I visited Costa Rica for the first time, and I went to this resort called Anamaya. This is a picture of the view from Anamaya. And I mean, I have better pictures, but like suffice to say, it's on a cliffside in the Pacific, and all you see is like ocean or jungle. And this place just blew my mind. And from that moment in 2013, I knew that I wanted something different. I wanted to live there. I wanted to be there. I wanted to somehow just have that in my life. I needed that in my life. I was having a moment of neurological growth where I was seeing a new possibility aside from living in a 350 square foot studio in Jersey City and working all the time and feeling like I never had enough money and being miserable in my relationship and blah, blah, blah. So this happened, Costa Rica. And how this relates to alignment is that this is the picture. When you think about how you want your life to be, do you have a picture? Yes. And it was this. And this, the more that I started to think about this as a possible life, the more my other thoughts and behaviors and feelings changed, because now I was like, the next logical step there, the next possible step was, I'm going to get back there somehow. And they invited me to start teaching retreats there. And then they started inviting me to teach 2-3 retreats a year. And then the yoga teacher trainings. And then I was spending 3 months a year in Costa Rica, and then 4, and then 6, and then the property, and etc. So from seeing a thing, letting that picture, knowing that you have a picture for that in your mind, and letting that picture awaken you to new and new levels of desire is how you get and stay into alignment. You have a picture, and you realize what are the negative thoughts and emotions that are keeping you from believing that you can have that picture. Then you start working on those negative thoughts and emotions. You start clearing them, releasing them, and your pictures get better and better and better and more specific. And you know that you can take action towards them because it's not Oprah 2.0, it's the next step. So I told you about this life that I was living. And so let's talk a little bit more about pictures, right? So this is my picture for life in Jersey City: cramped, dirty, loud, crowded, all of that. And the negative emotions were feeling stuck, feeling trapped, unhappy, stressed, tired, overworked, overwhelmed. So let's just review really quickly the power of having a picture. All right, so I want you right now to think about a lemon. Okay, I want you to visualize a lemon in your mind and see how yellow it is and how firm it is. And now picture yourself taking that lemon and squeezing it and feeling how juicy it is. And you can just feel that it's just ready to give tons of juice. And now you take that lemon and you put it on a cutting board, and you take a knife, and the knife is so sharp, it just slices through that lemon like butter. And as soon as that lemon is in half, boom, you get hit with that tang, that citrus, that yellow, that sour, that bitter, however it is that you describe lemon. And maybe your mouth is watering right now, and you might even be puckering right now, and you feel the saliva flowing because you know what it's like to smell lemon, and you haven't even tasted it yet. So you pick up half of that lemon and you just lick it. and you lick that lemon and you feel like, oh my God, it's so tangy, it's so tart, it's so citrusy. And so do you have a picture? And do you notice that that picture is creating feelings inside of you? So the feeling might be delight, or it might be like, ew, or it might be like, ah. It's just your nervous system is responding right now to the picture in your head. And that picture in your head that's creating those feelings inside of you of lemon are creating a state. And that state is affecting your physiology. Any puckering, any saliva, that's physiology. And that's going to now influence your behavior. So either you're like, I want to go have some lemonade, or you're just like salivating and kind of like, oh, wow, this is weird or something, right? You're having a behavior right now, just from the thought of lemon. So that's how powerful the pictures in our mind are. All right, so let's play an alignment exercise. So we're going to do this right now. Okay, and this is going to be a little bit of coaching, and you're going to get to practice the alignment process. So currently you're at stage 1. You have no awareness yet of what it is that I'm about to prompt you to do. So you're in that state of pure. If you were to describe the state that you're in right now, type it in the chat. It might be uneasy, curious, excited, whatever, right? So identify your current state right now and type it in the chat. Love to hear where we're at. Anticipation, cool, awesome, that's good. That's a juicy one. All right, anyone else, type it in the chat, or if you're watching this on the replay, please type in the comments on the replay what you are experiencing, what state you can identify right now. Krista says joy. Woo, yay, that's a very nice one too. So we're going to talk about this later on in the class, later on this week, towards and away from motivation. Excitement, okay, exciting. So these are, all three of these are very towards, right? An away from motivation might be like uneasy or nervous, but I'm super stoked that you guys are all in positive towards motivational states. Anticipation, joy, and excitement. That's so exciting. Okay, so excitement is definitely one of my states. That's one of my go-to states. Like when I'm excited, I know that everything is working out perfectly and like everything is going better than I could possibly imagine, because I'm excited, because I don't know what's going to happen next. So thank you so much for that positive projection, you guys. I'm really excited to share this with you. All right, so what's something that you really want? This is the alignment mini process that we're going to do right now. You can close your eyes if you want to, keep them open. However you do it is perfect. But first, I want you to just take 3 deep breaths. We're going to all take 3 deep breaths together. So any breath that's in your body right now, just let it go. And let's begin. Inhale. Exhale from your mouth, just letting it go. Inhale, deep breath. And again, let it out of the mouth. Getting more and more relaxed. One more deep breath in. Let it go. And now either eyes closed or open. I'd like you to just notice your feet on the ground or your pelvic floor on whatever it's sitting on. And just become aware of the contact of your seat and or your feet in contact with whatever they're in contact with. And imagine you've got roots growing out of those areas. And just send your roots all the way down into the center of the earth, just as far down. And once you get down to the center of the earth, tie or hook or attach your roots to something. Maybe they're an anchor, maybe you tie it around a stalagmite or tight, something. And so you're right now grounded into Mother Earth. And feel that sense of solid security, safety from your seat and your feet. Now bring your attention to the crown of your head and notice that the crown of your head wants to draw upwards slightly. So you lengthen up through the crown of your head. You notice your spine becoming straighter and longer. You notice more space in between your vertebrae as the crown of your head continues to gently float upwards. And you're able to take an even deeper breath. And you might even feel some motion in your spine as you kind of sway a little bit as you extend and reach upwards. And now bringing the attention right onto the crown of your head, I'd like you to notice that there is energy flowing out of the crown of your head, maybe like a golden thread or mist, and it's going up to source. And just like you visualized going down to the center of the earth, notice your energy floating upwards towards source, joining the galactic center. And at the very same time, energy is streaming from the galactic center to the crown of your head and entering into you. So you've got this amazing, beautiful connection. You're grounded right here, right now, safe and secure, protected by Mother Earth. And you are at the same time sending information out and receiving information back to source. And from this place of both safety, protection, belonging, and connection, inspiration, intuition, receptivity, I'd like you to bring your attention to something that you really, really want. Just let your unconscious mind show it to you. The first picture that you get is perfect. And just let that come into a little bit crisper focus. So your unconscious mind has already shown you something that you really want. And you have a picture for it and you have it in your mind right now. Start to really see it. Notice how you feel internally as you play with that picture. Notice if there's any important sounds in that picture. So now you have a picture of something you really, really want. Now we're going to take that next step in the manifestation process of becoming aware of any resistance. When you think of why you don't have that picture yet, what are your negative thoughts and emotions? Let your unconscious mind just surface the words and trust your unconscious mind that whatever words you receive are accurate. When you think of why you don't have that picture yet, what are your negative thoughts and emotions? So each and every one of you is easily and effortlessly receiving information from your unconscious mind. I'd like to invite you now to type into the chat what's some of the information that you got as to the negative thoughts and emotions of why you don't have it yet. It might sound something like, I'm not good enough, I don't know how, it's too hard, sadness, fear, overwhelm, anxiety, anger, confusion. So if anybody is getting any hits, right, from your unconscious mind as to when you think about why you don't have that picture yet, what are some of your negative thoughts and emotions? This is how we clear the resistance to staying in alignment. So the next question is, how is that a problem? So let's say you're doing this process, and let's go back to the Ferrari. Oh, here we go. I'm babysitting. Lack of control. Thank you, Michelle. Lack of control, outside influences, limiting beliefs. Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing. So I'm going to just go ahead and Michelle, are you okay with receiving some coaching around this right now? Yes? Okay, awesome. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and thank you. You unmuted yourself. Fantastic. Okay. So Michelle, when you think of something that you really want and you have a picture for it, when you think of why you don't have it yet, that picture, your negative thoughts and emotions are lack of control, outside influences, and limiting beliefs. So how is lack of control and outside influences, how is that a problem?
Well, what I envisioned may or may not
Oh, I
be.
can't hear you. Oh, is that because of me? Huh? Say something.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now I can hear you. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead. So how is that a
Okay.
problem?
So the first thing that came to mind was something related to my daughter. And so my first thought was, you can't pick this because you don't have control over her, but it just kept coming in. So I just kind of went with it because it's something that her well-being causes me some, anxiety. And so, so I was imagining her, do you want that part or do you just want to know what was holding me back?
No, this is great. Keep going.
Okay. So I was imagining her, she just recently got a new job. So I was imagining her in her new uniform, looking, she's 19, looking very appropriate and clean and happy and professional. And not worrying about like the boyfriend or, not listening to her own internal limiting beliefs or worrying about the negative messages, say from her dad or even from me for that matter. So, and then what was coming in was, well, you can't control her. She's going to make her own decisions. And then my thing was, well, I'm worried that she's going to be influenced by others, maybe this boyfriend, that sort of thing.
Beautiful. Okay. Amazing. So what I'm hearing from you is that when you thought of something that you really want, what came through is your daughter in her new job, feeling happy, feeling being professional, clean. She's 19. She's in her uniform. She's not worried about the boyfriend. She's not worried about any messages that she might be receiving from her external environment, including from you or her father. And she's really listening to her internal self. She's following herself. She's not being swayed by negative or external influences.
Correct.
Awesome. Okay. And then you heard messages when you think of why you can't have it, that you have no control over her. Yeah. So when you think you have no control, what do you feel?
I get like a tightness in my chest, like kind of in my solar plexus, and my stomach kind of gets uneasy. And I just kind of sometimes not right now, but sometimes it gravitates to like a tightness in my throat. And I feel fear, like I feel fearful. I get worried. I feel stressed, anxiety.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. Really clear. So I just want to take this moment to make a teaching point for everyone watching that Michelle is very associated. She's very aware of how she's feeling when she's connected to these pictures. She has a picture for no control. And that picture of no control is tightness in her solar plexus, uneasy, tightness in her throat, fear, worry, stress, and anxiety. That is her state, which is creating her physiology. Now, Michelle, when you think when you think you have no control over your daughter or over anything, and you feel tightness in your chest and in your solar plexus, you feel uneasiness in your stomach, you feel a tightness in your throat, and you notice that you're fearful, that you're worried, that you're stressed and anxious. When you think you have no control and you feel those feelings, what do you typically do in regards to either your daughter or any time you can relate to this pattern?
I usually try to do breathing. Like I try to do like soft belly breathing to kind of ground myself, because I know that I'm like kind of spinning in, what ifs and, things that I probably can't control. I try to focus out, like, for example, this morning, as I like pushed through it and I'm like, let me get to work, let me get busy. So sometimes I distract myself.
Yeah.
And then I start to pray and bargain and, think of things and then, kind of go through the gamut.
Yeah. Okay. So what I'm hearing is that when you have that feeling of when you have that thought that you have no control and you have those feelings in your body, the worry, the stress, the anxiety, the fear, that you try to breathe and ground yourself. You notice that you're spinning in the what ifs, then you might go and get distracted either by doing work or getting busy, and then you might pray, and then you might bargain, and you go through this whole cycle of all these different attempts to manage those sensations in your body. Yeah. Yeah, thank you for being so clear about the whole process. So, again, to make this like a teaching point, right? First, we have a thought, I have no control. Then we have a feeling, tightness in the throat, solar plexus, uneasiness, anxiety, fear, worry, stress. And the thought and the feelings together create our behavior. Well, first I'm going to breathe. Now I'm going to get distracted. Now I'm going to work. Now I'm going to pray. Now I'm going to bargain. And so there's something even deeper, Michelle, that's making that as, so let me ask you another question to follow that up. When you go through that gamut, what are your negative thoughts and emotions?
I worry that, something's, bad going to happen to her. She'll kind of take the wrong road. She won't have, the things that she wants. She'll maybe slip into, negative habits. I worry, I know this is going to be on Facebook. I worry that, I worry like what her, her dad is going to be critical and how he's going to, if she takes a wrong turn, he's going to blame me. So I kind of get these layers of emotion around it, like, again, sort of like the what ifs, and then I guess if I had to go deep into myself, like how this is about me, like, haven't been a good mom? Have I not provided good guidance? Am I not, on top of things the way I need to be? Am I not influencing her? Am I not the more positive influence versus the negative influences she might be listening to? So I kind of take that, if I have to go down into my own stuff, it kind of goes into like my own, I'm not enough. Like, am I enough of a mom? Am I enough of a good parent and a partner, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. Really great awareness again. So how we would work with this is, and I know that we're a little bit over, but I don't want to leave you in mid-process, so we're going to tie this up. But I'm not enough. I'm not a good enough mom. I'm not a good enough partner. Those, you deserve to release those limiting decisions, right? Those are what we could call a root cause, right? Or at some point in time, you decided that you weren't good enough. And it's the thought that comes after you go below the level of consciousness, which is, I'm concerned about my daughter. I don't want her to be influenced by negative influences or external influences. And when we get even deeper, we see that what's really behind that is the unconscious thought that you're not good enough mother or partner, or that you've not been a positive enough influence or given enough guidance. That's getting a little more surface level. I haven't given good guidance. I haven't, but underneath that, I'm not good enough. So those are the decisions that you deserve to release. Now, there are learnings there. And the reason why we persist with the negative thoughts and emotions is because we haven't yet extracted the learnings from it. So this is a little bit of a stretch. I would coach you a lot deeper on this before asking you this question, but just to sort of, try to complete this process, I want you to ask your unconscious mind, what might be the purpose for you believing that you're not good enough? And just trust your unconscious mind.
I would say to be more present with my daughter and my children, to be more like willing to see like things might be off track, which might mean I need to, intervene. But like that warning sign, like, don't take it for granted that they're just, they're still kids, that just don't take it for granted that they're gonna, they still need you.
Yeah, amazing. So I want to bring you up a little bit more. This is really beautiful. So when you, Michelle, are more present with your children, when you're willing to see warning signs, when you're willing to be that much more present, when you're consciously not taking them for granted, when you're consciously aware that they still need you, what opportunities become available for you when you are that?
I think what I've kind of been noticing is I'm been trying to be more present and aware and not wanting to be in denial, like these are teenagers, they're going to find stuff. I think the opportunity is just really enjoying them more, like really just embracing kind of like their little personality differences and quirks, and just like appreciating who they're becoming in the world.
Beautiful. And when you are enjoying your kids more and embracing all their quirks and their different personality elements, and you're really just appreciating the heck out of them, when you're doing that, what do you feel?
I feel joy. Like I feel it's like exciting. It's like that fresh kind of feeling, like, almost like not quite a roller coaster, but that kind of like the little bit of a thrill, like, woo, this is like a new one, you know.
Awesome. That sounds so much fun. So when you have joy and you're excited and you feel fresh and it's like thrilling because you don't really know what's coming next, when you're in that state, what new opportunities are available towards your daughter right now? When you're in joy, excitement, when it's all fresh and it's thrilling.
I think I could be like less like more open-minded, more like holding on loosely, like not holding on so tight, like holding on loosely enough that she knows that I'm there, but not so much that I'm trying to force her into my image of what I think she should be. And so
Yeah.
giving her the space and opportunity to kind of find her way, but with some, with some parameters, I guess.
Yes. Amazing. That's beautiful. So, for everyone watching, thank you so much, Michelle. Thank you so much for sharing your experience with this process and letting us see you and hold space for you. That
Thank
was
you.
amazing. Okay, so we went from Michelle in this exercise, something that she really wanted. She really wanted her daughter to not be influenced by external things, to actually really, let me take it up to the positive. She had the picture of her 19-year-old daughter at her new job in her uniform. She looks clean, she's being professional, she's feeling like on top of it. She's not being influenced by external people and situations and messages, and she's following her own inner spirit, and she's happy. So we started with that, and then we found out that unconsciously, Michelle had a concern that her daughter would be influenced and her daughter would go down the wrong path and her daughter would not be happy and she might do negative habits and things like that. And that underneath that was the unconscious belief of, I'm not providing enough guidance. Maybe I'm not as positive an influence as I want to be. Maybe I'm not as good a good mom. Underneath that, I'm not good enough. I'm not a good enough mother. I'm not a good enough partner. Somewhere, somehow I believe this. And then we found the learnings from that belief. If your unconscious mind could show you or tell you what might be the purpose of having those negative thoughts and emotions, well, it's so I can be more present with my children. It's so I can be more willing to notice when things might go off track. It's so I don't take them for granted. It's that I realize they still need me. Okay, so when you see that, what are the opportunities available for you? Well, I can enjoy them more. I can embrace their quirks, all their personality difference. I can just love the heck out of them and appreciate and enjoy them. And when you do that, or when you see that that's available, how do you feel? Well, I have joy and excitement and it's all fresh and it's thrilling. And now how do you apply that to the experience that you're having with your daughter right now? Well, I can be more open-minded. I can hold on loosely. I'm not trying to force her into an image of something. I'm giving her space, but letting her know that I'm here if she needs me. And I'm trusting that she can do this, but I'm right here. So from the worry and stress and anxiety, Michelle was able to create a whole new way of being around her daughter that will both fulfill Michelle needs, right? Which is like, I want to be more present. I want to, have gratitude and appreciate them. And the needs of her daughter in a way that's neurologically possible for Michelle, right? If we had just said at the beginning of that conversation, this is why coaching is different from advice. Michelle says, oh, I'm worried that she's going to be externally influenced. Well, just no, you can't see that guy, that boyfriend's off limits. You can't do this, you can't do that, right? A lot of people would give advice like that. Oh, well, she needs to go to church more, or they can't see each other, or whatever, these external attempts at control. When really, right, when Michelle gives up a little bit of that control, she gives her daughter the opportunity to lead her own life. And Michelle also gets the opportunity to be more present and more, a little hands off, but that's kind of thrilling and exciting. So this is all what's possible when we dive into our negative thoughts and emotions. We're able to release them, reframe them, and then create new opportunities for behavior. All right, so that's the end of today. I know I kept you guys 12 minutes past. Thank you so much for staying and watching. Hey, Michelle, you have something?
Thank you. Yeah, no, I appreciate this so much. It was really fresh on my mind, but I just want a little disclaimer. I didn't want to leave you with the impression that my daughter was a mess or anything like that.
Oh.
So when I said clean and professional, it's just that, she's kind of her teenager self, but she looks, in her uniform, she looks very professional, maybe her hair tied back, that sort of thing. So I didn't want to create any bad image because she is amazing. She's awesome.
Oh, I'm sure she is. I'm sure she's incredible. And no, I don't think there was any negative connotation at all. The way I received it is that you're a mom just concerned about her daughter and wanting your daughter to be happy and fulfilled. And I got a very positive internal representation from the way that you told the story. Okay, cool. All right. So, and just so you know, Michelle, this is a private Facebook group. So it's only the people that are enrolled for the class that signed up for the Facebook group that might be able to see this. So, yeah. All right. So for homework, do this process, right? You can take a screenshot of this, or maybe you already wrote it down. But think of something that you really want, really get that picture. Ask yourself, when you think of why you don't have that picture yet, what are your negative thoughts and emotions? Ask, how is that a problem? How is it a problem that I feel I couldn't do it, or I'm not smart enough? Well, when I think I'm not smart enough, I don't take any time to really look into things, because what's the point? I'm not smart enough. I don't tell people what my ideas are because I'm probably going to sound stupid when I do it. Something like that, right? You start finding those negative thoughts and emotions. You're all free from that, of course. We're all free from that. So you ask, how is that a problem? And then you ask, I didn't put this on the slide, but this would be an important next question to ask. What might be the purpose? Ask your unconscious mind, for what purpose might I be having these thoughts? Or another way of asking it is, what does believing this protect me from? That's another way of asking it. And that's going to recover some of that deleted, distorted, and generalized content that may be showing up as a block to your alignment and an opportunity to get back into alignment. So I want to thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate you staying on and participating live. Tomorrow, I just want to give you or remind us all what we're doing tomorrow. So let's see. We've already covered the prime directives of the unconscious mind. We talked about the NLP communication model and the preferred representational systems, which come from the VACOG, right? Visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, gustatory. And that's how we're processing our experience. Remember that we're receiving 11 million bits of data every second, and our filters, which distort, delete, and generalize, create our internal representations. And then we've got those 134 that we can consciously grab onto. Today, we talked about alignment. What is it? Why is it important? What is it? How do you get into it? How do you fall out of it? How do you know when you're in those states? How do you get back into it? And then we did the process, which is examining your negative thoughts and emotions, that's how you stay in alignment. You become aware, you make the unconscious conscious, you become aware of where your resistance is, what the negative thoughts and beliefs are around that resistance point. And then you do the work to recover the learnings, what you deserve to learn about those negative thoughts and emotions. And then you can move forward because now you have clarity and now you can take inspired action on the next most appropriate steps. So tomorrow we're going to talk about tomorrow is going to be intuition day. Yay. We're going to talk about our intuition and how you use your intuition.
Uh-oh. We lost her. Raquel, you said you sent me the link to the Facebook on an email?
It's in the body of the email. Read the email that you
Okay.
sent me saying today that you registered, and it's there.
Okay.
It's a link.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, I guess she's not coming back.
It's still recording, so that's kind of weird. Should we just hang up?
I guess I'll give her 3 minutes to 12:30
Okay.
or 12:20 rather.
Okay. For some strange reason, I don't see that in your email. Do you mind forwarding it to me?
Yeah, it's the one you responded to today.
But I see the link to what we did. Oh, Fire Facebook. There it is. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, I got it. It was the original thing. I gotcha.
Okay, no worries.
Oh, it says this content isn't available right now.
Oh,
That link did not work. Let me try something else.
well, you're not my Facebook friend. Otherwise, I would add you.
That's okay. I can request you on Facebook.
Sure, no problem. I don't even Facebook that much anymore. I go in, I go out. I'm just so sick of the shit.
I don't go on that much either. Is it just Raquel Sanchez?
Here, I'll give you the link in chat because it's
Okay.
spelled kind of different.
Okay.
Just in case somebody's looking for me. There you go.
Perfect. Thanks. All right. There we go. I think I'm gonna hang up because I got another meeting to go to.
Yeah, it's 12:20. She hasn't come back.
Yep.
So.
All right. Thanks for the invite. I'll see you.